You're standing alone under a bridge in London at 2 in the morning. Your shoes are soaked. Your expensive suit smells like river water and cigarette smoke. In your pocket is a fake passport. In your briefcase are documents that could destroy politicians, bankers, priests, maybe even the Vatican itself. For years, you moved money through a hidden empire no one was supposed to see. Drug money, mafia money, political money. Billions of dollars flowing through shell companies like ghosts through walls. And the craziest part? You weren't some street criminal. You were one of the most respected bankers in Europe. They called you God's banker. But tonight, nobody is answering your calls. Not the Vatican, not your political allies, not the men you helped become rich. Because you've just realized something horrifying. The people who protected your empire might be the same people preparing to silence you forever. And within hours, your body will be hanging beneath Blackfriars Bridge. Officially, it will be called suicide. But decades later, investigators will still ask the same terrifying question. Who really killed Roberto Calvi? You are Roberto Calvi, and you don't look dangerous. That's your greatest weapon. You speak softly, you dress perfectly. You look like the kind of man who politely discusses interest rates over espresso. But behind the calm face, you're building one of the dirtiest financial systems in Europe. You rise through Banco Ambrosiano, a respected Catholic bank in Italy. At first, it's simple banking. Loans, investments, corporate accounts. Normal. But then you discover something powerful. Money becomes invisible when you move it through enough countries. You begin creating offshore companies hidden in Panama, Luxembourg, and Switzerland. Most of them barely exist. No offices, no employees. Sometimes just a mailbox and a fake director signature. But through these paper companies, billions begin moving around the world, and you aren't doing it alone. Because standing quietly beside your empire is one of the most powerful institutions on earth, the Vatican Bank, the Institute for the Works of Religion. The Vatican gives you something priceless: protection. Nobody wants to investigate the church. Nobody wants to accuse priests of financial crimes. And that shield allows your operation to grow bigger and darker. Soon, mafia money begins entering the system. Dirty cash from heroin trafficking, extortion, illegal gambling, money stained with blood. But once it passes through your offshore maze, it comes out looking clean, like running muddy water through the filters of a luxury hotel. And suddenly, everyone wants access. Politicians, secret societies, criminal organizations, intelligence agencies. You aren't just a banker anymore. You're becoming the financial center of an invisible empire. And invisible empires are the hardest to escape. The silence of the elites. What would you do if the most powerful people in the world suddenly stopped answering your calls? In this world, silence isn't rude. It's a death warrant. You don't panic at first. You check the dial tone. You call again. But when the switchboard at the Vatican and the private lines in Rome both go cold at the same time, you realize something horrifying. You aren't a partner anymore. You're a liability. The moment the phone stops ringing is the moment you start looking for a sturdy bridge. P2. Propaganda Do. Officially, it's a Masonic lodge. Unofficially, it's a hidden network connecting politicians, military officers, businessmen, intelligence agents, and criminals. Imagine a private club for the most powerful men in Italy. Now imagine many of them are corrupt. That was P2. Its leader, Licio Gelli, operates like a mafia godfather dressed as a businessman, and you become one of his most valuable allies. Inside P2, relationships matter more than laws. Investigations disappear. Judges get pressured. Police suddenly lose interest. And through these connections, your financial machine expands across Europe and South America. Money moves so fast, nobody can fully track it anymore. Even regulators become confused, and confusion is profitable. That's the trick. Financial crimes rarely look dramatic in real time. No ski masks, no alarms, just signatures, transfers, quiet meetings. $1 billion can disappear with less noise than a closing elevator door. The thin green line. At what point does a banker stop being a businessman and become part of organized crime? It's never a sudden jump. It's erosion. It starts when you stop asking where the deposit came from and start asking how fast you can hide it. A businessman follows the law, a criminal follows the profit. But a God's banker lives somewhere. By the late 1970s, your empire becomes enormous. Banco Ambrosiano is now deeply connected to the Vatican Bank, and behind the scenes, billions are circulating through offshore companies connected to organized crime. But there's one enormous problem. A lot of the money doesn't actually exist. The system survives because everyone believes the numbers are real. It's like building a luxury skyscraper on wet sand. As long as nobody jumps too hard, it stands. But once people start asking questions, everything collapses at once. The psychology of the billion. If billions of dirty dollars pass through your hands every week, would you eventually convince yourself it was just business? Numbers lose meaning after the ninth zero. You don't see blood on the bills anymore. You see entries in a ledger. You convince yourself you're just the plumbing. Essential. Invisible, indifferent to what flows through the pipes. If the money is dirty, the ledger makes it clean. That's the lie that lets you sleep at night. Italian investigators begin noticing strange transactions, loans without collateral, companies without employees, money traveling in circles between offshore accounts. At first, you stay calm. You've survived scrutiny before. Your connections are too powerful, too protected. But this time feels different. The numbers are becoming impossible to hide. Some estimates suggest over $1 billion is missing, gone. And suddenly, everyone involved starts panicking. The Mafia wants answers. The Vatican wants distance. Politicians begin pretending they barely know you. You realize something terrifying about elite corruption. Nobody stays loyal once survival becomes expensive. The bedfellows. How do you sleep knowing the people protecting you are murderers, politicians, and secret societies? You don't sleep. You nap. One eye on the door, the other on your offshore accounts. You eventually realize protection is just another word for custody. The same hand that shakes yours in a cathedral is the same hand that can sign your disappearance in a basement. Then the investigations intensify. Italian authorities charge you with illegal currency export violations. You receive a suspended sentence. For a moment, it looks survivable. But behind closed doors, the pressure keeps building. Because Banco Ambrosiano is bleeding money. Fast. The offshore companies are collapsing like dominoes, and creditors are demanding answers. You stop sleeping entirely. You begin carrying documents everywhere. Insurance. That's what the papers are now. If something happens to you, maybe the secrets survive. Maybe that keeps you alive. Or maybe it makes you even more dangerous to the people around you. Then the disaster finally explodes. Banco Ambrosiano collapses in 1982. One of the largest banking scandals in European history. Over $1 billion missing. The media goes insane. Headlines connect the Vatican, organized crime, and secret political networks. The empire you spent decades building is now collapsing in public, and every powerful person connected to it begins scrambling to survive. Some destroy records, some deny everything, some quietly disappear. And you run. For the first time in years, you are truly alone. No boardrooms, No luxury offices, no protection, only paranoia. You move through Europe desperately trying to negotiate survival. You contact old allies. Nobody commits. Nobody wants to touch you anymore, because now you're radioactive. If you talk, governments could fall. Bankers could go to prison. The Vatican itself could face catastrophic scandal. You know too much, and men who know too much rarely die peacefully. The ultimate choice. Would you run? Or stay and trust the system you helped build? Trusting the system is suicide when you're the one who built the trapdoors. If you stay, you wait for the accident. If you run, you just choose the scenery for your final act. Most men run not because they think they'll escape, but because they want to feel the wind on their face before the noose tightens. June 1982. London. You hide inside a cheap apartment with no luxury, no security, only fear. Your final days are spent making desperate phone calls for money, protection, and survival. Witnesses later describe you as terrified, almost hunted, the Calvi paradox. You realize the Vatican, P2, and the Mafia may all be preparing to sacrifice you. Every phone click feels dangerous. Every black car feels like surveillance. Then comes the final night. Your movements become unclear. Some claim you carried documents exposing powerful people. What we do know is where you ended up. Blackfriars Bridge. Your body is discovered hanging beneath the scaffolding. Bricks in your pockets, cash on your body, orange rope around your neck. Police first rule it suicide, but investigators quickly question the evidence. Why the bricks? Why signs of a possible struggle? Even the bridge itself seems symbolic. Blackfriars. Blackfriars. Possibly a message tied to the secret networks surrounding P2. And the mystery only grows. Your death creates decades of theories. Was it the Mafia protecting lost money? P2 protecting itself? The Vatican hiding scandal? The Vatican Bank denied wrongdoing, but later paid hundreds of millions as a gesture of moral involvement. Investigators reopened the case multiple times. Experts challenged the suicide ruling. Informants claim Calvi was murdered, but convictions never truly hold. The truth stays buried beneath money, politics, religion, and fear. Because this story was never just about one corrupt banker. It was about powerful institutions protecting each other. And when that happens, accountability disappears. The terror. What's more terrifying? That Roberto Calvi was murdered? Or that nobody powerful enough could prove it? Because that means the system may have been built on silence instead of laws. The failure of institutions. If institutions secretly protect each other, who stops them? Nobody. You simply wait for the next scandal, the next banker, the next bridge. In the end, you weren't destroyed by greed alone. You were destroyed by the illusion of protection. For years, you believed your connections made you untouchable. The Vatican, the Mafia, political elites, secret societies. But in corrupt systems, loyalty only lasts until panic begins. Eventually, someone decides you are worth more dead than alive. To this day, nobody knows who killed Roberto Calvi. Maybe it was the Mafia. Maybe political cleanup. Maybe something even bigger. But one thing is undeniable. You stood at the center of a financial network so protected and interconnected that even after death, the mystery refuses to disappear. The final verdict. Was Roberto Calvi killed because he stole money? Or because he knew too much? Money can be replaced. But knowledge is far more dangerous. In the end, the truth became more expensive than the billions he lost.